Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. As always, I'm looking forward to having a crafty catch up with you, but more importantly, I'm excited to share this is what I'm going to make, or something very similar. And can you spot it? A certain new stamp look. It's absolutely fabulous. The range, the stamps in this, honestly, I just know you're going to love them. But as soon as I saw them, I was like, oh, thank you, Tracy. You know I love my florals. And what can be so much happier and nicer than a sunflower? They just make you want to smile. So sit back, plump up those cushions, get yourself comfy, and let's have a little catch up. And this design starts with a piece of multifarious card, and it's from this, and this is the DL, the double length selection. So, and you get 20 in a pack. I love DL cards. There's something about just the size and everything. Very elegant. Now this, of course, I've put it as horizontal, a landscape, but you could make the design and hang it this way and stamp Bumble and Hum the opposite way and have it almost like as a hanging. I just love that sort of, now, you know I'm a wreath girl, it's almost a bit like a sash, part of a wreath. But you know what I'm thinking? We could make the whole thing, couldn't we? But not today. Today we're going to create this sort of design. And this new stamp that I particularly love is called Sunflower 1. And I remember that because it's got 3 leaves. So it may have a friend, Sunflower 2, with 2 leaves. Just saying. So what we're going to do is, the ink I'm going to use today is the black, the Nocturne Versafine Clair. And I'm going to come in first, and I just want to ink up the stamp. But I don't want to ink up the whole of the stem. So I'm going to ink up there and just be mindful. So with my inky binky, just going to take off a little bit of ink here. Now if I take off too much, it doesn't matter because I can draw it in. Just going to check you can see what I'm doing. That would help, wouldn't it? And I'm sort of just going to offset it slightly down at the bottom. Now this first one, you're positioning, this first one's the important one. So keep your fingers crossed, ladies and gents, that I've got it right. Now look at that. Don't worry about this. Look at the detail. It's just stunning. So we'll stamp again and ink up to the same position. Now this time, just in case, I've got a trusty piece of copy paper and I'm just going to put it there so we can create this shape coming up here. Now again, if I've missed a bit, my black fine liner, I don't mind about that. Don't worry, we can easily fill that in. So then in with the third. Now this one I want to ink up the whole of the stamp. So many things you can do with this, so many possibilities. And they were all whizzing through my head, honestly. So this one I'm thinking if we pop it here, and I can judge the angle and sort of go for the same sort of height, and gives me that nice shape. So like I say, black fine liner, and just here I'm just going to go so that reaches there. And the same here, look. And I'm not pressing on too hard, just lots of little dots. Find if I just do it that way, and there we go. So next we'll stamp our lovely bee from Bumble and Hum. I'm thinking sunflowers, they do attract the bees, don't they? But also I was thinking we've got a lovely lavender stamp. Now that could go nice with the sunflower and the bees. So many options. So I'm just going to pop my bee here because I want to leave a little bit of room for one of the sentiments, and I've chosen one of the sentiments and it's off the Bumble words, and I've gone for just be. So again, ink that up in the black, and I'm just going to pop that in the little space here. Now again, I could have put Bumble and Hum, and I could have put one each side. Again, do you know what? So many possibilities. I just know you are going to love these. And the obvious with the sunflowers was just standing them in a row. But I'm thinking we could do that, but no, let's do something different. And there's so many pots you can put them in. How are you going to grow yours? Like I say, I'm thinking wreath, I'm thinking in a meadow, beautiful skies. Oh, I tell you, I know you clever lots. Now, I've given that a blot, obviously, because it's a slow drying ink, and in with the honeycomb stencil. Well, it has to be, doesn't it? And we're just going to pop that over. So I'm going to turn this round just because it's easier for me. And the colours I've chosen, russet orange and lemon drop. So I'm going to come in first with my russet orange. I'm just going to move this to the side. So I'm hoping you can still see, just so I've got enough room to bring in my lemon drop. So I'm going to start with the russet orange. Maybe just move that up a bit, just so that I'm not going to come over the edge. Now, because I can see through the stencil, I can see where my stamping is, and I can make sure I can go round, important, into the lid. And I don't want this too heavy. I want a nice light orange. So I'm just going to go round the beautiful sunflower. And the same here. Just almost to focus on and round my lovely bumblebee. Again, blending in the lid, it's so important. I don't want it too strong. Right, so now with the yellow, and this, as I say, is the beautiful lemon drop. So I'm going to blend that now next to the orange. And just blend away to nothing. So this one I'm going to come on a little heavier. I'm holding my brush a little bit tighter. With the orange it was a very loose action because it's a darker colour, but with this I can afford to come a little bit heavier. And I'm just going to lift that up, look, and have a look. Lovely. Now, I just think I want a little bit more of the orange, which is fine. I'm not going to ink it up. I'm just going to come in and press a little bit harder. I'll have enough ink left on my brush. And that's the thing, you're almost using up that ink now that was on your brush. And then lift it up and have a look. Yes, I like that. Now this, I'm going to put that to one side, spritz it in a minute over Mr. Eric, and then pop that in my journal. But I just love that flow there. So we'll pop the lids on, then we're going to do some wink of colouring. Now, if you love your colouring, these are fabulous stamps to colouring. So the colours, I know you're going to want to know, in no particular order. We've got number 15, number 2, number 5. I did say no particular order. 170, 30, 27, 22 and 36. And just a piece of kitchen roll to lean on. And as always, I'm just going to do my speed colouring. So the blue is just for the wing and the little bit of eye there. And we'll pop that down. So next, I'm going to do the green. So just the stem. I've gone for a darker green that I'm going to do the sunflower stems in. But then down the middle of each of the leaves, those veins. And you know me, I just like to do this. The darker colour first. And then I can blend it out with the lighter colour. And this is sort of an olivey green, this one. It's a lovely green. Now, when I looked it up, I mean, the different varieties of sunflowers and the different colours you can get. It's absolutely amazing. And as I say, they're such happy flowers. Right, so light green now. The boys at school plant a sunflower. They've also done it at Beavers, and they always take it home, and it lasts a couple of weeks in the pot at home on the windowsill. And then when they come round for breakfast on a Thursday and Friday, that's the time when there's a case of, Grandma, The sunflower's too big for the windowsill. Can you give it a new pot and look after it? And then we have to take photographs every week of how tall it's getting. Right, so next we'll go with the orange and we'll just colour our lovely bee. So a little bit of orange at the base and then in with the yellow. Again, bees come in varieties of yellows and oranges. Now onto the sunflower itself. What I'm going to do is with my black, just traces, put the dots, look, where the shadow will be. So I'm just going to enhance that just so it pops a little bit more. Look at that, gives it a bit more oomph. So in with my black. And then the centre, I'm just going to go for this nice brown. Again, it does vary in different varieties, the colour of the centre. So whichever variety you fancy doing. And again, I'm going to use my clear wink of Stella over this, so I'm not too much worried about my colouring. Now you will probably take your time. I'm doing a bit of that speed colouring. So next it's the red, and I'm going in the direction that the petals are. So I'm doing sort of inward outward strokes, look. And just that red to give that lovely oomph in the middle. And again, this one. Lovely flowers to cut out and decoupage. If you like your decoupaging, these are fabulous. Right, orange next. And again, I'm just going over a little bit of that edge of the red, just so it blends the colours together. And because I'm doing sort of the inward outward stroke, so it's this sort of motion, as I say, in the direction of the petals, not only is it blending, but it's different on each petal, so it will look more natural. But as I say, if you're somebody who's a colourist, I can't wait to see what Mona does with these. I mean, the way she adds colour is absolutely fascinating. Anybody who's going to a workshop, you know, you're so lucky. I need to go to one myself. As I say, you know, I'm not a colourist. I'm all for this quick colouring, bit of cheats colouring. Lastly, yellow. And I'm just coming over that orange and into the yellow. And it doesn't matter if you've gone over with your stencil, because again, these beautiful Mondelez pencils will just cover it up. So yellow on this one. And again, I'm not going right to the end because, as I say, my beautiful clear wink of Stella will do that for me. If you haven't got a clear wink of Stella, well, I could say why not, but you could use your white, the lighter colour, just to blend the colours together beautifully, or your Lavinia fine paintbrush in some water. Right, so we'll pop those to one side, and I'm going to start, check this is nice and clean, with the blue and just blend that there. And then I'm going to go into the green and just on the leaves, just blend that lovely colour. And you see how it quickly blends it to the side, and then I go into the darker colour. So we start with the lighter green, blend it, and then blend some of that darker colour. And it's just seamless blending. So clever. But when it dries, it has that lovely sparkle. So next we'll go into our lovely bumblebee, the yellow, and then into the orange, and just blend that orange into the yellow. So I'll start with the centre here and the brown, and then just blend into that black. And again, I'm just cleaning my brush because I'll get a little bit of colour just from that last colour. So there it's the black. So I'm just mindful to just clean my brush a little. I think I might need to refill this one. It's getting near the end. And again, I get the pack with the refill, so I think I just need to have a refill. Right, I need to clean that end. And then I'm going to come in and start with the yellow. So start at the edge, blend that yellow into the orange and then into the red. And then just clean the end. And if I can Now, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, you know I need a proper cameraman, but if I bring it closer, can you see how the colour on this sunflower pops more once it's been coloured? And I just think that's fascinating. So as I say, clean the end and then start with the yellow. And again, I'm just doing that in and out motion around where the yellow is, then into the orange, and you'll just see it change colour, and then into that deep red. Give that a clean. And then the last one here, same thing with the yellow. Quite therapeutic, this, round into the orange. Or orange, as me and the boys call it. And then into the red, and give that a clean. Make sure that's nice and clean for next time. But look at that. I think that's just so pretty. And again, there's, I keep saying it, but so many possibilities. So a couple of little finishing tricks. And we've got our beautiful yellow sparkly posca. We've got to use that. Our white gel pen. And also I've just brought in a little bit of this lovely bronze. And with the bronze, I've just added some dots in the centre, just for a bit of extra interest. Now again, you could add glossy accents for water drops. Now I'm going to come in with some white highlights. They won't necessarily show up that well. What I've discovered with the, just check my pen's working, with the Wink of Stella, they tend to show up more when the Wink of Stella's dry, but I'll add a few just to give you the idea. So if I just put them at the top and then a couple of little, and the same on the leaves and just a couple on the stem. As I say, that they won't show up that well. I think we can see a few, can't we? So a couple of dots at the top here. And then, I don't want to do every leaf. Just a few where it catches. And then shake our lovely posca. And all we're going to do is add, and again, remember to tap on this little bit. This is the bit that seems to like being tapped. And I can direct it, look. So I just want to go around our lovely bumblebee, around the flowers. So I'm just trailing it round, look. And then finally, I want a piece of threads. So I've got my lovely craft yarns all in a bag and all the colours are matched. So I've gone for my lovely oranges and I've just cut myself a piece of thread. And I'm just going to make myself a bow. So I just make 2 bows or bunny ears. And we put one on top of the other. Bring it underneath and tie. And that way we get a lovely bow. And again, you can have this as large or a small look. You could go tiny. So I think about that. It'll look lovely there. But they're a bit long. So we'll snip those off. And I think that just there. So, little bit of Bippity Boppity glue. Now this will dry clear. So if I just put it under that bit of the bow, if any just leaks out, it's fine. It'll dry clear. And there we've got our lovely design with that beautiful new sunflower. And that's sunflower number 1. And this is what it looks like when I've popped it on a little bit of black card and then on some white. But I've also put the posca onto the white. So if I pop that over that we've made today. So do you know what? I can't wait to see what you create when you get these new stamps. And I'd love to know what you think of them. I'm just showing you this little one, little sneak peek. But there'll be so much inspiration from Tracy and the rest of the creative team during this week. And remember, the lovely Fairy Festival. So you've got the, if you're coming to see us at the Dreamatorium, 2 days of free demonstrations. Otherwise, there's the online extravaganza, and that's 4 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So can't wait to see you again. So you take care. Thanks as always for popping in. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.